estate agents fall under this category. Good ones, the good ones fall under this category. This is accidental and proactive, which means there's nothing I really want. I don't have any goals outside of make as much money as I can, right? But I'm doing well. I am moving towards things, right? So I want a Maserati. Oh, look, I have enough money in my pocket. Let's buy a Maserati.
I want to be debt free. There you go. I want all my properties paid for.
There you go.
That's what I move for. Move towards.
So that, but that's your why. So that's a goal that you have, and as long as you're moving towards that goal, then you're here in the category of abundance. This is when you're intentional and proactive. This is the words you will hear in every class we teach. Intentional and proactive. Okay? This is when you want something and you're moving towards it with a plan. Okay? These are the steps it will take to get what I want, and I'm going to follow it. That's what we do when we build your business plan. We take national averages, Marco. You're better than the national average realtor, because that person's a new realtor like Barbara. Marco's better than you, Barbara, right now. Just for experience purposes alone. However, if we use those national averages, we know what the bare minimum you can do is. We can give you a plan of action. If you follow that plan, even if you're not that good at the skills, you will reach your goal. The better you are at those skills, you will meet or exceed your goal, right? So that's the kind of plan we're going to give you. But if you don't follow it, there's no expectation that you're going to get to your goal, right? I'm going to give you the same plan. Now your goal in the beginning is going to be a little bit lower for the next 12 months, but that's where we have to start, because you can't start with unrealistic expectations. But do you understand how if you have an intentional and proactive plan and then you follow the steps to carry it out, that you have to expect to reach your goal? Okay, so this is the multidimensional part of success, right? Knowledge and skills plus your motivation equals success. If you don't have the motivation, you can have all the knowledge and skills in the world and it's not going to get you to success, right? And if you have no knowledge and skills and all the motivation, and I would argue that's probably better. But either way, you're not going to get to the highest level of success. You need both of those things. And we will give you the knowledge and the tools. You have to bring the success, can't give you that, right? Again, we use the Tony Robbins 5,000 people in an auditorium. They all paid $500 to be there, but their motivation stopped when they left the door. You got to bring that to the table, okay? So that's what it is right here. Your willingness, your motivation, plus your ability equals the expectations that you will reach your goal. So this is the beginning of your homework assignment, guys. A model for success, it says to be intentional. And this is teaching you how to be first intentional, and then second proactive. And you can't become proactive before you become intentional. So you're going to be following these 4 steps in order. So the first thing we want you to do is to define your aspirations. There's going to be a page which draws this homework assignment out even more, but this is beginning to talk about it. So we're going to want you to define your aspirations. What's an aspiration? Marco, what does it say next to the word? What do you want? Right? What do you want out of your business, out of your life? That's your aspirations, right? I'm going to ask you guys to make a list of 100 things. As in, you can have 500 things on that list. Anything you want out of your life, right? And I think the first few things on that list is going to be a roof over your head, eating on a daily basis, right? Your daily, yearly, annual budget type stuff. But that list should also be full of things like, I want this car, I want to buy a boat, I want to buy a private island. Whatever. Doesn't matter. And you may never reach some of those things, but I want you to define them. I want you to define every aspiration that you have. A vision board, right? Mm-hmm. Now, when you do a vision board, are you going to get everything on that board?
Yes.
I know. That's good. I don't know because I've never done a vision board.
I take everything I've already done and put it on the back. So I kind of flip it and then I just can revisit it, because sometimes it's just amazing. Like you'll revisit and you'll be like.
Do you add things to the vision board? Okay. So
I have to actually update it right now.
So let me ask you a question. The thing you added to the vision board the last thing that you put on that board, is it just something that all of a sudden you thought you wanted, or was it something you wanted but you really didn't think it was?
I think it's something that maybe Jim and I are discussing. Like it's really kind of funny because we were discussing an RV. So he wanted to get a B class. So I was looking through and I had it on my board and I wasn't really thinking about it. he looked at it and he goes, I don't want that RV, that's not the one I want more like the van type. We were looking for RVs, we forgot all about the board, we came back and bought almost the identical one on the board.
That's funny.
It's
Okay.
really funny, so that's how like crazy those things
But
are.
I want you guys to come up with everything that you want, because it's a good exercise anyway.
Yeah.
But so here, they have to be specific, right? I want a lot of money.
No,
That's not very
good.
specific.
What is
Right? What does that mean to you?
Mhm.
Or I want to make money. Here's $1. You succeeded, right? That's not what you want. You want these things to be specific. And then it says hope springs eternal. Can you guess yet why it says hope springs eternal? Because when they're just aspirations, you're just hoping that you get them,
Yeah.
right? That's all they are right now, because right now we're only intentional. We're not proactive about it yet, we're just intentional. And so we hope we get these things, okay? So then number 2 is we're going to develop goals, plans, and strategies to achieve the things we want. And don't you love it when it works, things work out like this? Goals, plans, and strategies, GPS, because what does a GPS do? It establishes direction. And that's what this is doing. The GPS that you're going to do is going to establish the direction for achieving the aspirations. And then what does it say? Hope turns to expectations, right? Now the things that you hope to get, you have an expectation to get. Because if you follow your goals, plans, and strategies, you'll get there. And that's where we come up with that equation that we talked about. Now we got to be proactive. So to be proactive about these things, we need to implement activities, but not just any activities, vital activities. The activities that are most important to helping us achieve those goals, right? So then it says consistent action, efficient action, and proficient action. What's the difference between those 3? Marco, what's the difference between consistent, efficient, and proficient?
Not sure what proficient means, but
Level. The level you're at. I mean, you can take consistent action and then you get to another level and it becomes very efficient, and then it just becomes proficient because you just no longer help.
So if we're making phone calls,
well, consistency will generate efficiency as you do it, and the more efficient
the more you do, the better you'll get.
Yeah.
And then that means you become proficient at it because you just.
So that's what we're talking about here. It's implementing the vital activities consistently at first, right? You're making phone calls, you're really bad at phone calls, but you're doing them consistently, which means you're going to get some success. You're going to get better until you become efficient at it, and then you'll get better until you become proficient at it. And so that's the difference. And the more you do, the better that's going to be, okay? And then you need to be accountable. Focus on where you need to get better, right? Identify your strengths, and much more importantly, identify your weaknesses, right? And that's when your expectations begin to turn to reality. So that's what being intentional and proactive is all about. Your aspirations plus your direction plus your action plus your focus is going to get you there, okay? And then on the bottom, your willingness and your abilities must match your expectations. If you're unable to effectively and efficiently implement the strategies necessary to achieve your goals, you have to seek out training. And that's what we're here for. That's what our trainings, the open house boot camps and the listing conversion boot camps, they're there not because I want to waste your time or it's just another class for you to go to. They're there because as you begin to implement these activities, you're going to find that I can hold a successful open house, but when I call these people to follow up, I'm not getting any buyers to want to work with me. So Buyer Conversion Boot Camp is here to support that and to help you bolster those knowledge and skills.
When's the next one?
I know.
It's on the calendar, okay? But that's what they're there for. Our 13 classes support your business plan in any way you need to get better at those skills. And again, I reiterate, they're meant to be gone to over and over and over again. Okay, so this is a quick formula for success. It works a few different ways, but if you follow along with me, I consult with an agent. I'm helping you to formulate your GPS, your goals, plans, and strategies, and that is giving you the direction for your business, right? So then you're going to find out that you need some more training where you have weaknesses, okay? And then that training is going to help you bolster your knowledge and skills, and it's going to help you take action, and not just action, effective and efficient action, okay? Then you're going to need to be held accountable, right? So that you can continue to progress, and that you can be disciplined, because that's what the accountability helps us do. We all fall off without accountability coaches. You know Tom Ferry and Mike Ferry, right, Marco?
Oh, I listen to Tom Ferry's podcast as soon as they come out.
And you've done Mike Ferry.
Okay.
These are real estate coaches. That's what people pay them, $5,000 to be for you, a coach, okay? And here's the thing, nobody's paying for the scripts that they teach you, or really any of the education, because that stuff you can get on YouTube for free if you guys didn't know that. You are literally paying $5,000 to have a person, and if it's Mike Ferry, and you can vouch for this, literally call you and say, are you fucking making your phone calls? Why the fuck not? They curse at you. Mike curses at you. Tom's people are kinder and gentler. But that's the point. Because humans need that kind of a push to stay on track. And so that's what accountability is for, is to keep you disciplined and to remain focused, right? And then at the end, we're going to have mastermind groups. Masterminds are groups that come together, agents who are all in the same boat, and they learn from each other's mistakes, right? Because that helps provide a sense of reinforcement and support. That's how we become successful. Now you can see, you can read it vertically as well. Consulting plus training plus accountability plus mastermind equals success, right? GPS plus knowledge and skills plus discipline plus reinforcement, success, right?
Yeah.
So that's how that works, okay? And that's all that is, really a chart that explains it. Okay, this is the homework page. What does it say? In the very beginning you said why, right? You need a good reason why. So behind every productive act is a great reason why. That's what we're trying to establish with your homework. We need your why. Because if your why isn't strong, you're not going to put in the work. Okay? So again, the journey begins with two simple questions. The first thing I got to tell you here is you cannot successfully do this if you try to do number 2 before number 1 is completely done. You almost have to pretend question 2 does not exist until you're completely done with 1 for this to be most successful. So the first question is, what do you want? To simplify it in a macro sense, what needs funding in your life? That's that list of 100 aspirations that you want. And I don't care, like I said, if private island is on there, right? Put it on there. Define what you want. You also should put a dollar value attached to it. How much money this year do I need to be saving to get myself closer to that? So some things, as in a car, right, you're going to want to put a dollar value that if you make that money this year, you can buy that car. Other things like retirement, you may want to put aside how much money you're going to save that year. Okay? But you want to put an annual dollar value for everything you put on that list. Okay? Now, specificity is crucial because the answers when linked to your business become requisite justification for leaving your comfort zone. So you need to be very specific about what you want. Right? You can't just say, I want to make money. Right? Your aspirations need to be very, very, very specific. By the way, we're going to go over these, okay? We have another class before we do that. Then we're going to have our business plan meeting. In the business plan meeting, we're going to talk about that stuff. It can all be tweaked. We just want you to start thinking about this stuff, okay? Start writing it down. But after you have your list with dollar values attached to it, then you can move on to 2, which is to ask the question of yourself, how badly do I want this? Okay? So all aspirations begin as wants, however, wanting something is not enough. Therefore, your wants must evolve if you expect them to be realized. So let's go over the 4 stages of an aspiration. Okay? Number 1, it's just a want, right? This is something we define and talk about, but that's really all you're going to do, right? I want a plane, but I'm not doing anything to get a plane, right? If somebody said, here's a plane, I'd be super excited about it, right? But I'm not doing anything to get it, so it's just a want. Number 2, it's a desire. This is something that you will move towards as long as the path remains easy and convenient, right? Money's coming in, I got enough of it, I go to the dealership, I see that Lexus, I'm going to buy it, right? I didn't necessarily want it, but I have enough money, so I'm going to buy it. That's what a desire is, something that you'd like to have, and you'll get as long as it's easy and convenient. Once it becomes hard, you may not get it, right? 3 is a passion, and this is something that you're willing to suffer for, get uncomfortable for, okay? By the way, these things can differ, okay? So I'm going to use an example. When I was getting married, my wife and I, we were passionate about getting ourselves into good shape for that wedding. We were passionate about it. That's why we went and got P90X. Everybody knows what that is?
Yeah.
You don't know what that is? It's a workout, like tape system. You work out every single day for an hour. So we got P90X, and we did it, and we were so proud of ourselves, and we looked damn good for the wedding. I'll show you some pictures. actually had a six-pack. Don't ask me to lift my shirt now. So I was passionate about it, and I did it. Okay? A couple of months after our wedding, we started looking at ourselves in the mirror and we're like, what the fuck? maybe we should do this P90X again. And by the way, the first time I did P90X, I hadn't worked out in a long time. So the first week, I couldn't even move, right? But I did it, okay? The second time, my muscles were all, I still had something. We couldn't get past the first video. Couldn't even finish the first video, the first day. Well, screw this, right? Why? Because I was passionate, because I had a link to my passion, my wedding. That's my passion link, okay? When I didn't have that passion link, I'm married now, I don't have to prove anything.
Let it go. That's how it goes.
I didn't have it anymore. So maybe I desired it.
You have a different passion.
Maybe I desired it, but I didn't work hard enough to get it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to use another example. By the way, we'll talk about obsession real quick. Obsession is something that you let completely take over your life. Okay? So if you are obsessed about reaching a goal, will you reach a goal?
Probably.
Yeah.
Laura does.
100%. You're going to reach the goal.
But Laura doesn't. She's obsessed to being. She says she isn't, but she has this obsession about being the top. I mean, it is crazy. And it's like I'm like, you're doing amazing.
But you know what? She doesn't, because yesterday it came out of her mouth. She said, "I don't want to be the top agent."
Yes, because she isn't right now. Because she's like, because she's not like. She's really mad at a couple agents that she knows that they have a team and there's individuals. And they have like an 8-person team, like the guy in
But they're still on individual?
And he's still on individual, and he puts out things on Facebook, here's all my team members. And that's why that drives her crazy.
Oh, I know what that is,
Yeah.
and that bothers me too.
It should bother you. It should bother Remax.
Because she's like a real individual, and then they're not.
Remax is all about, the only reason Remax has teams, right? It's awards. Awards purposes. It's the only reason Remax has teams.
Exactly.
Anyway. So an obsession is something that, yes, you will reach your goal, but at what cost, right? You're going to be unhealthy. It's not, I don't want my agents to be obsessed. We want to be.
The lady was here yesterday.
Yeah, I'm always on her about that because I'm like, you got to have your fam. So I think I'm rubbing off on her because, but she's still obsessed about it. She really focuses on it.
So let's talk for a second about passion link, because that's what I'm trying to establish here. Okay, a passion link. Now let's talk about a terrible job, okay? Every job has things that we don't want to do, right? Every single job has things that we don't want to do. Athletes, right? It looks very sexy, right? You see them on SportsCenter, you see them getting awards, you see them winning trophies, and you see all this and, going out on the town and whatever. What you don't see is every single day athletes vomit. Every day. Every day when they practice. They practice until they throw up. Some coaches, if you didn't throw up, you don't get to leave the field yet. That's the dedication it takes. So do you think you want to do that now? So maybe they get paid a lot of money, right? People, they get paid way more than they deserve. Well, you know what? They make that money back for people also. But I'm not here to debate that. What I'm here to debate is it may sound sexy, and yes, they may make a shitload of money, but guess what? They work harder than you.
Yeah, they have such a limited time to work.
Yeah.
Actors, again, red carpet, awards, glamorous, you see them flittering around everywhere, but what you don't see is that 6 months out of the year they're away from their friends and family, and they're learning how to be a kung fu star for the next movie.
And
at a boot camp.
Sleep, because some of them I couldn't believe, like they're like, and they have to get into freezing water. They're like at 3 in the morning. It's like, let's go.
Or they starve themselves to look like emaciated, and then the next movie 6 months later they gain 200 more pounds than they ever had in their life. It's not even healthy.
No, exactly.
That's the amount of dedication they have to do what they do to get what they get.
Yeah.
So they're passionate about it, right? Because if they weren't, they wouldn't put themselves through that. So I don't care what job, there's stuff you don't want to do. Now, let's talk about a terrible job. Not actor, that's fun. Let's talk about a terrible job. What about filling bags of sand? That's your job, Mello. Your job, Mello again.
Mellow.
Your job is to have, I don't know why, I think I told you about my buddy whose name is Igor Mello, that's what we call him, so I don't know, it's easy for me. So you got boxes in front of you filled with sand, you're a big kid in a sandbox, right? And you got burlap sacks and all your job is all day is to fill it, tie it up, and move on, like an assembly line. Does that sound like a fun job?
Hell no.
You probably want to kill yourself after a while,
Yeah.
right?
A short
Very
one.
tedious, very mundane, sucks.
I have a worse one, picking up garbage, because I have a very sensitive nose, and that kills me. When I'm walking or running, and I smell that garbage truck, I'm like, oh my god, how do these people do this job?
However, Now let's tie a passion link to it, okay? Let's pretend it's New Orleans after the levees broke.
There you go.
Okay? And so you volunteered to go fill bags of sand. You're now doing the same job, but what it means to you is it is saving the city that you absolutely love. Do you think it makes getting up in the morning a little bit easier to do that job? Right? Instead of getting up in the morning and going, oh God, another day of filling bags of sand, it's, I get to do this because for what it means. So that's what we're trying to establish here. We need to have a passion link for why we're doing this, because you're not going to want to make calls to your network. You're not going to want to hold open houses. But if you know it means that you're going to get that private island, you might do it. Right? If you know it means you're going to be able to put your kids through school, you might do it. You need a passion link, which is why I want you to first write down everything you want and then cross off everything that you are not passionate enough about today or this next 12 months to work hard enough to get. Start crossing things off, okay? What you have remaining is going to be your daily budget items, right? Eating, living, and maybe a couple of bigger things. I want to take a vacation. Trying to get married this year, so I need to make this much money. Maybe my kid's salary, whatever it is.
You want me to have money or you want me to be married? I'm just kidding.
Whatever it is, that you're willing to work hard enough, that you're passionate about, that you're willing to suffer for to get. When we add that up, that's your goal for the next 12 months. Because anything on that list you don't get, it's going to be unacceptable. You'll be upset. You will lock yourself in a room and cry because I didn't get that. And it's even, every dollar counts, because if you need to make $100,000 and you made $99,000, you're $1,000 away from doing something on that list. Right? Maybe you didn't get to eat every day.
That's okay.
And that's not, well, for some people it's okay, but for some people it's not okay. And if it is okay, Barbara, then your goal shouldn't have been 100,000, it should have been 99. Does that make sense?
That does, but...
If it's okay to not get one of these things, it should have been crossed off. And that's okay if you didn't cross it off, because we'll figure that out before long.
There you go.
But that's what this means. Whatever number you come up with, that's your monetary goal. See, Mike Ferry might say have a goal, and you just throw a number out there, and that's all good. But we want to make it not just enough to have a number. We want it to be your passion about what that number means to you. Or it's not worth having.
Exactly.
Okay? And that's a little bit of the difference, because what we're going to end up doing is we're going to give you activities, not make 500 phone calls, because yeah, if you make 500 phone calls, you'll be pretty successful. Can you? I don't know. But if you make 2 phone calls, it's a little bit easier to do every day, right? But you got to do it every day, and the only way you're going to do it every day is if you're passionate about why you're doing it. Okay? So that's what we're going to be giving you. So you guys understand the homework assignment? I want you to go over every aspiration you have. That's first and foremost. Put a dollar value on it, and when that's done, and only when that's done, start crossing things off the list that you're not passionate about over the next 12 months. Okay? Because that boat or that island can come back later. But it shouldn't be there today if you're not willing to work hard enough to get it. Okay, and we talked about this a little bit. Why is this so important? Because how you do your daily activities matters. We want you to wake up in the morning and get to do things, because you'll be passionate about it. There will be a sense of pleasure, even in activities that you don't really want to do, right? You'll embrace those activities and you will take the action. They will be fulfilling and you will lead a life of abundance if that is the case. On the other side, when you have to do things, anything, like when I went to school, right? It becomes a chore. It becomes painful. You will resist it. Does anybody procrastinate? Would you procrastinate on something that you love to do?
No.
No, you wouldn't. You're doing it because you don't want it. Now, if you didn't love it, but you were passionate about what it meant to your life, you might not procrastinate. Then your days are full of mundane activities that you don't want to be doing, and you end up being frustrated, right? We don't want you to have to. Days add to weeks, add to months, add to years, add to life. Every day you should get up and say, I get to do this. Not I have to do this. And the only way to wake up every morning and say, I get to do this, is to have a passion link attached to it. What that money means for you, right? That's what we want you to do. Passion links help you endure temporary pains of being out of your comfort zone, right? There's no pain, no gain. The only way to get better is to get out of your comfort zone. This page is about defining your financial requirement, okay? We will need you to do a budget. We do need you to understand how much money you need on a daily basis. There are lots of people, believe it or not, on this earth who are budgeted, who do have budgets of what they want and do. I don't personally, so this is not. You do? Okay. We want you to have an understanding of that, so this page is going to help you do that. Why? Because you can't get the boat before you can eat every day, and before you can keep a roof on your head. So we need to understand what those daily and monthly and yearly things that are for your life are. So that's what that's for, and that's what the next page is for. This is a sample prioritized budget. And it leads us to this, which is the entrepreneur's mantra. Has anybody heard that before? Entrepreneur's mantra? You've heard that before. Okay. The entrepreneur's mantra is the sentence here. It is unacceptable for my business to profit less than, and you fill in the blanks. Marco, where are you getting that blank from?
From my own goals.
From the homework, right? After defining everything that you want and then crossing off the stuff that you aren't going to be passionate enough to work for this year, what's left, added up, is that. Right? And so if that number is $100,000, and again, you made 99, and I said, Barbara, you said 100,000, okay, you made 99 this year, how do you feel about that?
Bad.
Bad is the correct answer, thank you.
I wouldn't.
Right?
Right.
It should be unacceptable. You can underline that word if it's not hitting home. Unacceptable means it's not acceptable. Right? Unacceptable to make $1 less than that. Otherwise, you should have put $1 less than that. Or whatever it is for you. Okay? And that's important. Because you don't want to miss out on any of those things. Otherwise, they shouldn't have been on the list in the first place. Okay? So that's your homework assignment. This is the last page. This is for next time. Okay? Real estate sales are basic. That's the next idea we're going to build the class around. Okay? So that's today. So everybody knows their homework, what they need to start thinking about. And again, yes, it's your homework. You should start writing it down. But we have another class, then we have a business plan meeting where you and I sit down one-on-one before you really need to have this stuff ironed out, and even then most agents can change at that point if they want to. It's going to take all those classes to really understand everything that goes into this. So I just want you to start having an idea, okay? That's what the homework's for. All right? Thanks, guys.
Thank you. It was awesome. I'm embarrassed about my classes. Yours is so good, Jeff. You did amazing.
Are we off? Okay, so guys, I'm happy that there's really just the two of you because it makes scheduling easier. So we need to do another hour and a half class. The next one is a little shorter than this one, but I'm going to do it when, I already put it on the schedule. The idea was going to be Wednesday of next week at Pompano. Is that good for both of you?
Perfect.
Okay, then both of you are going to get a meeting request to show up so you can put it on your calendar, okay?